Sometimes in life, I feel like we're all on this scavenger hunt for one thing: happiness. And we're searching everywhere for it. We're searching in our relationships for it, in our work life, in school, through our bodies, through everything that we do. We're searching for a sense of happiness. And one thing I want to say is our human brains are designed for negativity. And often we are shaming ourselves, especially as women, for not being happy enough or not feeling like things are good enough. And I just kind of want to explain why we're so negative. Okay. So I want you to picture evolutionary, humans. What is more important to remember? A berry that tastes good or a berry that made you sick? Let me tell you, it is so much more important to remember what made you sick rather than what made you feel happy, right? So technically, our brains are really designed to catalog all of the negative, to catalog all of the pain, to catalog all of the times that we felt unhappy so that we can avoid them in the future. But the problem is that our brain can't always figure out, emotionally versus physically, what that thing that it cataloged is. It just knows resistance to it. And sometimes, especially for certain people, if you've experienced a lot of negative, your brain goes on to defense all the time. And it will hold on very strongly to those negative moments and stories and traumatic events and not allow you to engage in happiness at all for fear of experiencing that trauma again. And I want you to know that it is possible to move on from that, and you are not a prisoner to that. And I want to show you with mindset training how you can evolve from being a person who feels negative constantly to a person who feels positive. Because I used to be a person who was negative. I saw the glass half empty. You couldn't get a positive word out of me because that was my experience in life. I grew up in a place where I didn't know happiness. I really didn't. And it made me so angry to see other people be happy because it was not a thing that I had experienced, and I hated it. And when I saw positive people, I hated them. And it took so much internal work for me to become a person who's positive and to let go of that identity that I carried around being a person who got hurt and being a negative being. So I was learning about the psychology of happiness and what goes into making happiness real for us. And I thought it was very interesting what I found. They call it the 6 pillars of happiness. And I'm going to read them out to you, and I'm going to explain each pillar. So the 6 pillars of happiness are certainty, uncertainty, love and connection, significance, growth, and contribution. So the first 2 right off the bat seem like huge contradictions, but I want to explain how amazing both of these are. Certainty. We want to know that money's coming into our bank to pay our bills. We want to know that we're going to have a roof over our heads and that the sun's going to rise tomorrow, and we want to feel secure. Secure is so important, right? And, often if you are uncertain of safety or food or, anything like that, that is going to be your number one focus to become happy, because you need to feel safe first. Your brain wants to feel safe, and you need to give it that. Now, on the other hand, uncertainty. You're probably thinking, what the heck? Why the heck would I want to be uncertain? And I want you to really think about the happiest times of your life. Probably when you first fell in love with someone, or when you went to college and you had no clue what you were doing. Maybe it was when you moved to a different country or took a trip by yourself. That is uncertainty. Uncertainty is not knowing what's next and just letting the pieces fall in front of you. And I think that so often we try so hard to be so certain that things are okay that we become bored. Things become monotonous. Like, I wake up at 8 and I go to work at 9 and I come home at 5 and I eat my dinner and I watch a show and I go to bed. Yeah, you're certain that your day is the same every day, but that doesn't produce a lot of happiness because there's not a lot of change, there's not a lot of variables. So if you're a person who's kind of sitting being like, I'm bored, I am empty, I recommend you add in uncertainty. And that can be so many things, like small things like, taking a different route home or trying a class or, joining something by yourself. Feel that fear of uncertainty, because truly uncertainty is what you're going to remember. It's what's going to stay with you for the long term. It's going to trigger so many emotions and memories in your brain. You're going to remember that time. Like you do remember the time of falling in love and going to college. You remember it because it was scary, but it was so exciting. Okay, the next one is loving connection. And I think lots of us can be pretty sure that we all are looking for that, whether it's through friendship, through romantic relationships, work friends. Like, we want to belong, we want to feel connected with people, we want to lean on people. Like, it is something that actually truly, builds our happiness. The thing about that is sometimes people come and go in your life, and it can be harder for people than others to deal with those losses, either through death or through breakups or through moving away. For whatever reason, you have lost those people. And sometimes we get really hard and build up a wall. I know for myself personally, I've always kind of thought of myself as like a lone wolf. I didn't really have any friends. I just thought that was safe for me. And it didn't bother me even at all, because I just knew me coming home and being by myself was good. I knew what to expect. I didn't have to worry about anyone, saying anything mean to me or, being a bad friend. It just wasn't a variable I wanted to deal with anymore after some things that had happened. I was like, I'm cool by myself. And truly, I felt cool by myself until I made friends with amazing friends and realized how much better my life was, including friends in my life and trusting them and having that connection. It changed my happiness level exponentially, and I wasn't even realizing that I was missing it. So know that these pillars, you might not even realize that you're missing them, but I encourage you, if they're not there, to build them, because they truly do bring out happiness, okay? The next one is significance. And significance is one that I find women can sometimes back away from. But to give you an example, significance is having a title at a job that makes you feel proud. Significance is if I invited you to come sit on this podcast with me and speak with me about something that you do, that makes you feel significant, because you're like, my knowledge, my abilities are being recognized, they're being respected. We all want to be recognized and respected. We want to feel significant. And if you feel in your life that you never feel significant, I really recommend that you find ways to show your zone of genius to others and really stand as an authority in your space. And I know that can be terrifying, because let me tell you, I was shitting bricks when I started this business. I thought everyone was going to think I was a fake, and that, everyone was going to nitpick what I said and tell me that I was stupid. I really was terrified to tell people anything. But it felt so good when I did, because what I know is true and it can help people. And I'm so glad that I overcame that fear, because this feeling does produce a lot of happiness for me. Number 5 is growth. And growth can be so many things. Growth can be learning something new, like a language, or practicing your mindset, or working on your body. It's It's being better tomorrow than you are today. And so many people overlook growth as a happiness pillar. We think about school as like this work, or like learning as being like this negative environment. It doesn't have to be negative, and your brain loves learning things, okay? Especially if you're learning things that make you fired up, okay? Learn things. If you love cooking, get on YouTube and do a cooking class, a free cooking class on YouTube, and just get your skills better. Learn how to use a knife better. If you're a painter, then learn how to be a better painter. If you've never painted but you want to, learn how to paint. You know what I'm saying? Like, grow. You are never too old. You are never too busy to learn something. Learn something. Read about it. And do something that like really excites you. Like, why not? What else are you doing? Watching YouTube, watching Netflix? Like, take half an hour to better yourself. It feels good. It really does promote happiness. The last one is contribution. And this one was really cool when I was studying this psychology base of happiness, that they were studying millionaires and billionaires who said, I have everything, but I'm not happy. Why am I not happy, right? And the ones that said that they weren't happy, even though they had certainty with all their money, they had uncertainty because they were playing big games, they had a wife that they loved, they had so much growth and success. What they were often missing was contribution, is how they were giving back to people. And they didn't realize that they were missing that because they just never really thought about it, or it wasn't something that they realized promoted happiness. But in what way do you help people? In what way do you give back? In what way are you contributing to this world, to your community, to your friends, to your family? Doing contributions that are meaningful to you give you happiness. Like, for example, before coronavirus hit, I was doing fitness classes for the addiction center in town because it means a lot to me to be able to give the gift of fitness to people who can't afford it. And I know that it can help them change their life. So to me, it made me so happy to be able to give that to them, because I have this gift that I can give them. Like, why not give it, right? And it doesn't mean I'm going to do every single day, all day, but, give what you can. Do what you can. And you're going to help others, but you're also going to help yourself. So that is the 6 pillars. And I really want you to reflect on which pillar you need the most. Another thing I want you to think about is usually there's 1 or 2 pillars that promote the most happiness for you. And I want you to really dial in on which ones you believe make you the happiest, and see which ways you can add more of that into your life. I'm really excited to hear about what you guys come up with. And if you're missing any of these pillars, I'd love to hear it. See you later, guys. Bye.